Good evening and welcome to the March 26, 2018 meeting of the Weare Board of Selectmen. Start off by the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
As the schedule states, we were supposed to start at 6:30 for the non-public with a resident, but she had canceled on us, or postponed, I should say. So we're starting at 7. So first thing on the agenda is the election of the chairman and the vice chairman. Any nominations?
I move to nominate Ricky Hippler as chairman, excuse me.
I'll second that.
Okay.
Motion on the floor and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed, abstentions? I'll abstain because it's me. All right, so nominations for vice chair? Nominate Jack Meany for vice chair.
I'll second it.
Motion made and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed, abstentions?
Abstention.
Okay. That was painless. We've gone back and forth many times on that one before. All right.
Yeah, I think we had once before.
Department head committee items. We have a few members to reappoint to different committees. But we will start off with Richard Butt for a cable committee equipment purchase first.
Good evening. I'm representing the Cable Committee. You should have a copy of the capital reserve request.
Yeah, it's right there. He just handed it to me.
Okay.
We are requesting an expenditure from the Cable Equipment Capital Reserve Fund. There's currently $36,551 in that fund. We're looking to expend an amount not to exceed of $1,000. We are requesting the board approve the purchase of a dual-channel wireless system with 2 lavalier microphones. Those are lapel phones, and they're wireless, as well as 2 wireless handheld microphones. The total cost of the equipment is $827, and the difference between the $827 and the $1,000 requested would be to cover any miscellaneous items that might be needed, as well as possibly shipping of the equipment. The reason why we need this equipment are 2 reasons, really. One is that we're doing local programming now, and it's much more convenient to have the lavalier microphones attached to somebody who's discussing something, especially, I think most of what we're doing is going to be on site. They won't be sitting in a studio, and they'll be walking around and pointing out things. An example is Osborne Hall. We've got a program coming up in 2 weeks, a week from this Saturday, and we'll have 2 people there, and they'll be walking around discussing Osborne Hall. So they won't be attached to the camera. They can walk around, and the camera can be in any location, really. And the 2 wireless handheld microphones, kind of probably for the second reason. One is that anybody who participated in candidates night and or at the deliberative session, we had some equipment problems. That's equipment that's at the school. But we would rather have control of that in the sense of having the equipment that we're going to be using over at the school and make sure it's maintained, that the batteries are fresh, as well as the equipment is working. We'll probably be using our equipment in the future at the school, as well as anything that might take place over at the town hall. We have amplifiers, we have speakers, so we've done it before, and we'll probably do it in the future. And some of this equipment really will help us expedite broadcasting and those types of programs.
So all that equipment that we've been using at the school is the school's?
Well, it's the cable. It's purchased more directly by the school, but it's through the cable committee.
Okay.
I think the way it's set up is that what?
The audio equipment.
Oh, not the audio.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
The camera, the belongs to.
Right, I meant the audio, excuse me,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, the audio is the schools.
Okay,
So,
yeah.
we'll bring our own equipment next
Yeah,
time.
just plug in.
Yeah. We're at about mid-range or maybe low mid-range on the cost of this equipment. Not the most expensive, not the least expensive, but the equipment the company we're purchasing it through or from is well-known in the industry, and hopefully it'll last us for many, many years.
Any of the board members have any questions? Entertain a motion?
Make a motion that we approve the expenditure out of the capital reserve for the cable committee for 4 microphones, 2 lapel and 2 wireless handheld, for not, request for not to exceed $1,000.
Second.
Made and seconded, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
Thank you.
We'll sign it. You have it back. Thank you.
Might as well stay there.
Yeah, you might as well stay up there. We got a couple of reappointments for the cable committee. Yeah,
No, I could use the exercise, John,
I
but
definitely could too. First reappointment to the cable committee would be Richard Butt. So,
I feel like I want to still volunteer to the town, and cable committee openings became available 3 years ago, and want to stay with it. I haven't done as much as I probably should be doing. Doug, who's be up next, is really doing the bulk of the work. John Lawton's doing some as well. So hopefully over the next few months, we'll be doing a little bit more, taking some of the load off of away from Doug, and doing more local programming, which is, to me, is what the local cable should really be about. And it's just difficult getting people committed to that. It's a little extra work involved on part of volunteers, but we do have a person that you appointed a few months ago, and she's really enthusiastic. And we do have some work that's been done, and we took a peek at it the Tuesday night cable committee meeting, and we're looking forward to getting that up on Channel 6 as well as on YouTube.
so it sounds like you're enjoying your time on there then.
Hmm?
Sounds like you're enjoying your time on the board.
It can be a chore, but
Yeah.
I'm not doing as much as there's never a convenient time, whether it's an hour or
no.
2 hours.
Right.
There's never a convenient time, so I'm probably not doing as much as I should be doing. Hopefully I can do a little bit more. It requires a little bit of training. We have one person that really is technically aware of what's going on. It certainly is the reason why we're on YouTube, as well as the reason why we're broadcasting.
Mhm.
So hopefully we can learn from him before he, whatever.
Guys.
So we're all about, I think Rachel's sister was our latest appointment by the board. And she reduced the average age of the cable committee from about 71 to maybe 55.
Going in the right direction.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I for one, definitely appreciate everything that you do and everything that the whole cable committee
It's
does.
a cable committee.
The whole cable committee does. I mean, between the YouTube and the rebroadcasting, and it's great.
Good to hear that.
So I'll entertain a motion.
Make a motion that we reappoint Dick Butt to the cable committee
One second.
For 3.
for a 3-year term.
Motion's been made and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Doug, you're next.
Next victim.
Howdy.
Hi.
Howdy,
So another 3. Another 3
I
years.
guess so.
Oh, would you like 6?
Hey, I'll get 6.
You know,
9.
the last time Mr. Butt was sitting on that side of the table and he asks, why do you want to do this? And I said, I honestly don't know. I think it's insanity.
That's this side of the table.
Oh, no.
But now it's like routine, right?
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, like I said, and I got nothing but good things to say about the cable committee. Absolutely. So
Good job.
Great job.
awesome. Any questions for Doug?
any-
No.
I move to reappoint Doug Alwine to the cable committee.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Could you add the 3-year term?
3-year term.
Three-year term.
Yep.
No, the only other, and I don't know how you wanna do it, there are several people that need to be reappointed. John Lawton is also on the committee,
Okay.
that he can't be here this evening. Do you wanna see everybody? For instance, you've got,
Is there anybody new or just?
no, one reappointment for cable. You have, Bill Bolton on conservation along with Lisa Purington, that's a renewal. You've got Neil and Chuck Bolton on the planning board, which are both renewals. You've got zoning board, you've got Jack Dearborn, Mark Moretti, and Malcolm that are all renewals. Do you want, they've all filled out forms,
Yeah.
signed by the chair. Do you wanna see them? Do you wanna put them on the next agenda?
What's the board's consensus? I think if they're all
I think
renewals,
with the reappointments,
renewals,
I
yeah.
think we could just,
Yeah.
we could
Yeah.
just put them in.
yeah, I think since they're renewals, if they were new people, I'd say, yeah, bring them in.
Alright, well, I haven't got signatures on, typically what we do is we ask them to sign the volunteer as well as the ethics. I don't
That's
have
what I was
signatures.
gonna ask, does that have to be redated?
Yeah, I have, these two guys just did it.
Okay,
At the same time, what I would do before I bring them back is make sure they're A, complete, B, signed by the chairman, and C, the ethics.
Yep.
If that's okay,
That's
then you don't have to bring them back for a 2-second
right.
time.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yep.
But we'll put them all and we'll make one swoop.
Yep, for next
Okay.
week, yep,
Okay.
that's fine.
Okay.
Try to get everybody back in here for next week. Because I gotta get signatures too.
Okay, well, yeah, throughout the week,
Okay.
yeah. Yeah, but where they're renewals, I don't think we have to get them back
No.
physically.
Well, I knew there was a
Really?
time there that they wanted to bring everybody back, but at the same time, it was my understanding that it was largely due to if there's new faces on this board that don't know the, and I think Sherry knows most everybody I just listed.
Most of them, yeah.
So if you want to see anybody, let me know. You probably don't know Mark Moretti. He's on the zoning board. This would be his.
I might just
Third
pop
time.
in some night when they
I don't
have
know
a
as I even
zoning
know him.
committee
Sure.
meeting.
Yeah, he's been appointed twice now, so this will be his 3rd term. But yeah, I mean, if that's how you want to do it, I do recall back years ago, George Millette often wondered why we had to come back for a reappointment if you were on your 2nd and 3rd terms.
Mm.
But these gentlemen were here tonight, so I just asked them. So sorry to inconvenience you if I did.
Can we have an update, Naomi, on committees and if any, like,
Like,
holes that we have? Any
have a lot of
volunteers that we
holes.
don't? Right,
Yeah. a lot of holes.
conservation has 4 people.
Yeah,
There's
4
only-
available seats.
There's only 4 seats.
Oh,
Oh,
Out of
They can have 7.
7.
okay.
I'll sit on that committee.
The only, I don't know if you'd sit as a resident, probably
Right.
more than an ex officio,
Right.
if you'd want to. That's,
yeah, that's one thing we
Yeah,
didn't
they
go
don't
over at the chairman and the vice chair. After that, we didn't do the ex officio.
yeah, which
Yeah,
we can
we
do
can do that.
after, but
Yep.
the conservation really could use,
Help.
sometimes they've had to cancel because of quorum issues.
Well,
That's just, it struggles when you only have 4 people,
Mhm.
so.
Okay, we'll move on to the meeting minutes. I think.
Yeah, just to tell everybody that,
Yep.
ACO, you wanna just
Yeah,
explain
the
why?
ACO position that we have on here, that's, we move that till next week. He had not. he
There was some
quite ready.
information
Yeah.
regarding the domestic animals. We asked for a definition, and he was gonna search out
Right.
what a couple other communities do versus reinvent the wheel, if you remember.
Right.
Because we talked about domestic animals having a different whole
Definition.
definition versus
Yes.
just dogs.
Right.
So that's why, he's not ready, but next week, he's going to be
back for-
coming back for the ACO. He has gotten the SPCA contract, the contract for the gentleman that does the background that has been reviewed by Laura, as well as he's got 3 quotes for the cruiser equipment.
Mhm.
The cruiser has been ordered through the state bid,
Okay.
just to put our name in line,
Yep.
so that we can hopefully get there earlier than later.
Sometime before, yeah.
And then Benji also wants to come in next week, to interview, or to bring to you the one candidate for secretary, and then he's got some truck and body bids as well that are out. I'm not sure, he might have something else that he wants to talk about as well, so.
what about the, not tracks, the backhoe?
I have that for you tonight.
Okay,
Yep.
and the warranties included in there?
I believe he brought me the package of information to sign. It's got the broom and everything with it.
Okay.
Well, you do that during your report, right?
Mhm.
Okay.
I
So-
will just, let me preface it, I didn't send it over to Laura, if that's what you want before, I might as well ask now.
Okay, I mean, you know,
Hasn't been, not
I'm
been
sure
sent
the-
over.
she didn't, when we did the loader and the grader, she didn't change anything then, did she?
No, because it's usually manufacturer warranty, and there's
Exactly.
standard and, items that are done separately, what's not covered. But if you feel you want to, he brought this in, but I can,
Board's consensus?
before I ask you to sign something you don't know.
Standard.
I-
purchase and sales agreement.
I mean, it's on the standard US Canadian deer warranty statement.
Yep.
Right, I mean, if we have the warranty and,
Mm-hmm.
There's also one here for the broom, if you remember, there's a broom,
Get the one you wanted.
right, the broom that was included in the initial price.
Right.
And now it's listed here.
Is that the grader?
this was the original one,
Yeah, I have that right here too.
yeah.
Oh, from last year?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Which the warranty paperwork was all with it.
What did the final cost come down to?
The same thing you looked at.
Okay.
65.
The broom was part of it, but the broom here, I mean, it was part of it and included in Benji's purchase, but if you feel more warm and fuzzy, you can have it discussed when Benji's here. He'll be here next week.
Yeah, well, we just wait.
Because there is a price, there's a
Yeah,
number
let's wait
listed
then.
here for the broom, but I believe it's all part of the whole package, as he stated.
Now, this one, is that one a Duke last year's as well? And the reason I ask, I'm just wondering about the extended warranty.
That's what I asked,
Okay.
oh, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Because-
the standard warranty, but I'm thinking
Oh,
that
the
it
extended.
says it was on last year's, it was declined for the extended warranty.
Right, but I was assured that we were gonna get it.
Well, that's what I was, yes, that's what I would hope for.
We ought to put that on till next week's meeting.
That's what I'm thinking, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I just as soon have him here anyway, when you could ask us
Right.
better than me asking questions.
Okay.
Because the other one did say, final purchase subject to voter approval.
Well, can we, ask you a
It's got last year's and there's the new
Okay.
one attached. But the new
Yeah.
one you're looking at only has the broom on it, so.
Right. Can we get him to, in that week, figure out what extended warranty would be on the machine, cost-wise?
Okay.
And what covers and term? I'm sure it'd be like, 5-year probably, but I'd just like to see, I know we bought it on the plow truck for obvious reasons. I don't see why we shouldn't buy it on this, if the funds are there. Yeah, I'm sure that hours statement is current for the actual machine, says about 48 hours on it. But, yeah, it probably wouldn't hurt at that point to have
Does it
Laura.
say how many hours are on it?
It says,
in the
yes, it
contract?
says, well, no, it
Oh.
says 48 hours on the machine. That's when,
Oh,
that's when the
okay.
start warranty date is.
Yep.
So,
We'll address that with Benji next week.
Yep.
I can have him get back to the guy.
I'm just thinking a little bit of
Sure.
legwork between here and there,
Yeah.
that's all.
Yeah.
We can avoid prolonging it more. So, alright. Meeting minutes of 3/12, I'm assuming we're probably gonna table 3/19.
Mhm.
Bring 'em up here.
I have some changes.
Yep.
Did you have any? Or?
No, I'm still loading here.
Okay. Fifth line up on the first page. Drafted and they were run through DRA and the town's council.
And they were run through?
Yep,
Okay.
the DRA and the town's council instead of an attorney.
Okay.
I'll give you mine, Naomi.
Yeah, not the fifth line up. It doesn't say that in mine, so maybe I got it wrong.
And
We're looking at the
they have a
19th.
standard
No.
way of developing
The 12th.
cross-out dates on that same line.
Yep. Did you hear that one? I mean, you'll get Jan's copy, but. Is that all?
Okay,
Anybody else for page 1? Page 2?
I have, 4th line down on the first paragraph,
Mhm.
over to the right. But to him, that is, so add the word to between but and him.
Sentence starts off, Mr. Campano stated and agreed that that was the board's decision, but
To him,
to him, that
that
was
is
not
not
good
good
enough.
enough. 3 lines up on the 3rd paragraph,
Where it starts off,
starts off with,
public safety.
hires.
Oh, hires. Okay,
Yeah.
yep.
Go in after the comma. Some are now family plans, where some were taking the buyouts. In other words, they're now taking a family.
Some are
plan.
taking family
Yeah.
plans, right, or some are taking
Okay.
buyouts.
And then the last line on that page,
Mm-hmm.
Connie St. Clair,
Mm-hmm.
it was for 1-year term as a cemetery trustee instead of trustee of the trust.
Trust funds, right. Sarah was running for the trustee of trust funds.
Right.
Anybody else on page 2? Page 3?
Just under town meeting election day, it should be tomorrow, apostrophe S.
Tomorrow's voting.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then, down to where chairman closed, the next
Mhm.
sentence there.
Asking Frank.
Let's see, for any callers with questions to call as we are going to extend the time frame. So,
Okay.
to call,
Okay.
okay?
Yep.
I didn't really know what this all was, but I think the 3rd line down under public comment, and under general liability, and is a little under 47,000, maybe
One of those
from
items-
last year?
One of those items is under insurances, under general liability, is a little under 47,000 than last year,
From last year,
from last year.
right, you think? Sounds better.
Either or.
Okay. Um,
Anything else on page 3?
Yeah, second line up
Mm-hmm.
should read, that was put back in, is going to be spent.
Second, does the board have any idea?
So add
what
is.
this- That is going to be back in.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm. Anybody else, page 3? Page 4?
Let's see, 1, 2, 3, last sentence in the first paragraph.
Our attorney disagreed with us. Is that where it started?
Yeah, I don't think they disagreed with us. Disagreed along with us. And it has been done this way for years. I don't think our attorney disagreed. But maybe
With-
I'm wrong.
With the court decision. I would say disagreed with the court decision.
Okay, right? She disagreed
Mhm.
along with us, okay.
So maybe we can put in disagree with the court decision.
Oh, with the court decisions?
Yeah. And it has been done like
We
this for years.
disagree with that.
Make sense?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, over here, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 lines down.
Yeah, it says that
Recyclable,
it starts as done it that way ever since, then not just for that, but trash hauling contract. They're recyclable, recycling.
recyclable is spelled wrong. Yeah.
Probably spell check didn't pick up on
Probably didn't, I hit ignore.
that.
Second paragraph, second line should be addressed.
Addressed, yeah. Was addressed to chairman.
Yeah. I capitalized the town of Weare, but, you know, maybe it wasn't in the letter. So maybe that's why it's that way.
Well, because I used quotes, I typed it exactly how it was with the
Okay,
mistakes.
so that's what
and
I'm
with the-
saying. I
Okay.
didn't go back to see, so that
Mhm.
was. And that's all I have. That's all she wrote.
Anybody else on page 4? Page 5? Entertain a motion?
Move to accept the minutes of the March 12th meeting as amended.
I'll second it. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay.
Sherry, you abstained.
Abstentions?
I abstain.
Okay, 2 abstentions. 3.
I wasn't here.
Exactly. Neither was John.
You were here, right there.
Well, I was here, but it wasn't.
You
on-
didn't.
You were on the other side of the
I
counter.
was on the other side of the table.
Yeah.
And again, we're tabling the 312 minutes.
No, 319.
I'm sorry, 319. I'm circling the 312, yes.
Yes.
That's completed. All right, manifest. I vote to order the treasurer to sign payroll and accounts payables checks dated March 29th, 2018, as included in the following manifests. Payroll manifest, $57,083.53, weekly and quarter ending. Accounts payable manifest, $70,939.19. Supplemental accounts payable manifest, $45,485.70. And John Stark Regional Accounts Payable Manifest of $250,000 for a total of $423,508.42. Is there a second?
Second.
Sherry, second.
Moved and seconded. All those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
5.
Good. 5-0.
Let's see. Just, let's start with the first. There's been a little bit more further research done on the Weare Bible Baptist Church, so this evening, we're not ready to make, anything. The new information is passed to the assessing and the legal. I don't know if you want to discuss it, or if you want to wait and see what the, I did inform them that we were not gonna decide tonight because of some new information that has surfaced, so that they wouldn't come tonight.
Okay.
So I'm just waiting to hear back from. I don't know if anybody wants to talk about what's there, or how do you wanna handle it?
Anybody's got information? Good.
Some of it should be forwarded to
Yeah.
council.
Yeah, well, they have been to both assessing and town council,
See what.
but it was this
yeah,
afternoon,
See
so.
what we get for a response.
And this I didn't get printed out. I gave Naomi stuff earlier, but this last sheet I didn't have printed out. I had it printed, but it didn't get up here when I came up at. But, you know, the department, the Attorney General's office and the charitable trust units have been looking into this since 2012, so I think we can't a big decision until we find out more on that.
This correspondence that Selectman Burns talking about is between her and
Terry Knowles.
Terry Knowles, the Assistant Director at Charitable Trust Unit at the Department of Attorney General's Office.
Yeah, and done, right, Sherry and I had a conversation today. It really should be not a quick decision. It's something that
Right.
has,
Right.
more information has come forward.
Right.
And I think on this sheet, Naomi, that I just handed you tonight, this says that it's now under the New Hampshire Vermont Baptist Convention, so maybe that's a place to start looking to see if they've had any income at all during that time, because if the church was actually open and doing anything, they'd had something coming in.
Some financial.
And they'd have to file that with
Yeah, with these, yeah. So that's, there isn't, something we'll do further, and honestly, we can say next week, but I think it needs to have its due diligence and looked into before rushing into an answer. Part of the information that I understand is that, it is sitting out there for the lien, but we're not at deed, so, you know what I mean? I believe we have to do our due diligence here and for the town. So that's why, it is 16, so it's not any in jeopardy of being deeded by any means.
Right.
Before I get to the next sheet, I just wanted to also, next I wanted to let you know that, we have some good news. And that's to do with Health Trust. If you'll remember, when we went to, town meeting, the intent or the guaranteed maximum rate that we were given from Health Trust was an increase of 0.6. After they had their meeting, I believe it was, they had it right after town meeting, maybe, March 20th, they revisited the rates, and our rates for the town side came in at a minus 6.6%. So instead of the 0.6% increase, now this is only from July through December.
Right.
But instead of having a 0.6% gain, we ended up with a minus 6.6% decrease, and that's largely based on, activity and what happens, and so that was some good news. But with that being said, they
There's always a but.
no,
No, it's a good butt.
it is. All it needs is signature.
Oh, okay.
It's not a.
And that amount that we're
Did we
saving
figure
there,
out what the
And the
dollar?
the amount that Beth's done some rough calculation based on everybody's current plan, everybody that's currently here. It's roughly about $15,000 that we'll save or have in the budget.
Wow.
So, we haven't got it right to the penny, but she did some quick figuring based on the 6 months, because it is only the second 6 months of the year.
Correct.
So, with that, there's only one place for signature. So if someone wants to authorize the chair to sign it's a billing service term or agreement with Health Trust for health insurance coverage, there's one line.
Make a motion, they let the chairman, authorize the chairman to sign the paperwork for Health Trust for the medical coverage
I'll
for
Second.
second
the
that.
next year.
All those in favor?
Aye.
It's
Is
black.
it red?
It's black.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, this one's
Yeah,
black.
it's not that important, it doesn't really record. And
I
then,
thought it was red too when I looked
Thinking,
over.
oh, no.
no. ServPro did come Friday afternoon to look at all the damages, and Friday morning it was now.
Finally, they-
No, we finally connected, but he's not sure that it's really mold. And he's supposed to put something together for me. He took pictures, and he would give us a recommendation as to what to do with it. I asked him to get me that recommendation before Monday night, and I don't have it, so I apologize for that. But he's supposed to be sending me an email regarding that. The custodial position, we talked about it, but we talked about having a chance to talk about the default budget and then looking at it for April 2nd, which is next Monday. The joint loss did meet. I did not be able to come down to attend it because I had other things. Dina told me that the next meeting is going to be June 20th at 11 o'clock.
I attended that meeting.
Okay,
It was good.
I didn't get a chance to. ACO position we already discussed. It's gonna go back on for next week because he'll be back for other items. And lastly, the part-time secretarial position for DPW. As you recall, last week I told you there was 6 applicants. 2 backed out because they'd taken full-time jobs somewhere else. So Benji and I interviewed the 4 candidates between Wednesday and Thursday. And he will be coming in next week with the potential candidate for a brief non-public at 6:15, so you could meet them under B. And then my week is normal. And just, I guess Ricky and I have had a discussion, and last week under public comment, Under public comment, there's a lot of times we get several questions, and I had told Ricky that I would take the questions and try to get answers for the following week. So last week, there was questions in regards to our legal line being at $15,000. I don't have the exact breakdown, but I can tell you that there was a personnel matter. Doesn't matter which department it is. There's some right-to-know requests that get sent over for the for the police department to view that are potentially redacted. So that takes, it involves typically cases that, just to be on the safe side, they send them over to Laura to do. And also keep in mind, she did all the review of the warrant articles. There is a lawsuit statewide with Fairpoint, and they grouped Granite State Communication in that. So if you see the bill from Mitchell Municipal, it's 1/40th of a bill, because it's all
40
basically the
communities.
same thing. So that's in there, and then there is also, she attended town meeting for the entire day, so you paid for that. And then there lastly is the lawsuit that occurred with the default budget. So that's largely where it's been spent. I'm just gonna go out a little further and tell you that that personnel matter that you paid for should have been paid for last year. If you recall, that was a billing error, and it came through this year. Last year would have been easier, but it came through just a couple weeks ago. It is an error on their part, not our part, so we unfortunately have to take it out of 18s.
And that Naomi was what? You said 4,400?
It was about $4,200.
42.
So I just thought I would try to ease as questions come up and try to answer that question. The last thing I'd like to do is to pick, I guess, you guys all, right now there's 5 committees that require a selectman's representative. The CIP committee, which is Jan was on last year, the planning board, Tom was on, Parks and Rec, John was on. The Stone Fund meets annually once in November or December, depending upon their need, excuse me. And the one that's been inactive the longest time is the Heritage Commission, which we don't have anybody.
Right.
So, with that being said, I'm not sure where anybody would like to sit.
Well, I did the Stone Fund last year. I was very, it was very informative, I have to say.
Okay.
And they were very surprised to see a selectman there. They
Right.
kind of looked at me like I had 2 heads. They're like, "Who are you?" I said, "Well, I'm the ex officio." They said, "We haven't seen one of them in a long time." It's okay, so I will gladly take that over again.
I'd like to stay on the CIP.
Okay.
What's the other one, planning board? When do they meet?
Planning board meets the
Second
and 4th Thursday.
of the month.
You don't want to do it this.
I cannot commit to the planning board again.
Okay.
I just about drove me in.
You want to do, can you do that?
Yeah.
Doing everything else I
believe
do,
they can
too.
that.
Yeah.
All right, well, I have a binder upstairs for you then.
Okay.
I didn't bring them all down,
Yeah.
but there was a binder made. There's 3 big
so
binders
just-
upstairs, because Sherry and Jan have one. So you have one, Ricky's got one. It's just got all of the
Yeah.
Regulations.
planning,
Yeah.
zoning, site plan, gravel, building.
Not?
John doesn't want his, okay.
Sees enough gravel.
So then we have
Daily.
Park and Rec and Heritage.
You want to do Park and Rec still?
Well, Heritage, we don't have anyone.
No, it's inactive, but, John, you gonna stay on Park and Rec? I think,
I'll do
Sherry,
conservation.
yeah, it's not part
That's
of
fine.
ours, but I think it's very important and they could
Mhm.
I
use
think
the
it's very
assistance.
I think it's
important that
very
somebody be
important,
there
Mm-hmm.
with all the activity that's going on and.
The only thing I'll ask is that maybe you could get in touch with the
Chairperson?
of the Stone Fund and just let them know that to let me know, because I don't think I didn't get any contact.
I think you got
last
it
year.
like last minute, they were here.
I did get last minute. We were upstairs to have the finance committee meeting, and you said, "Do you know the Stone Fund's going on?" I said, "No, but I'm on that. I'm gonna go down there and see it." So
All right, I'll reach out to them.
thank
When
you.
does conservation meet?
The second Wednesday,
Second Wednesday.
7 o'clock.
Upstairs still?
Nope, they meet here.
Oh,
Right here.
Okay.
Yep. No, they've been trying. The planning board meets right here on the 2nd and 4th. Jan, your schedule has not
Oh,
been
gee, that's-
put out.
Right, it'd be
We wait till
like-
August.
Yeah,
Yep.
August, yeah.
All right, well, thank you guys, and I'll reach out, and Sherry, when we,
That might be a conflict for me.
on Wednesdays?
Change the time. change, okay, yeah. The Historical Society meets that night, so we'll have to change it.
Okay. Okay, that's fine. Oh, sorry. Jan- And I'll reach out to them respectively so that you're included in the emails. John, I believe you'll still be, Ricky, I'll just make sure they have your email.
Thank you.
Heritage, there's no need. I mean, we don't, unless we become active again.
Mhm.
All right, and then the other, just, at public comment, Sherry had asked about having the board when we are all here to discuss, the idea of moving the public comment up. We were all 5 here, so what's your pleasure?
No, what's the board's feelings?
I didn't know, were you planning to move it up or to have both? One in the beginning and one at the end?
I think we're at least talking about moving it to the top, right? That's what we had discussed.
Yeah, I said having one early. so
Having one early,
everyone
right.
could come, everyone that's, wants
I
to
don't have a
come.
problem taking it from back to front, but it doesn't need to be a question and answer period, and I think it needs to be a time.
I totally agree with the question and answer part. If there's questions, then we can take them down and we can get back to them, unless we have a solid answer here at the table. But again, it's public comment, not debate. So if there's a question, we'll get the answer to you. But I agree with Selectman Osborne on that aspect of it.
We want to make a motion.
See where it goes.
Yeah.
We can do that. I'll entertain a motion.
Make a motion to have public comment at the beginning of the meeting for a time period of 15 minutes without question and answer time frame, and eliminate the one at the end of.
I'll second it for discussion, and I think that I think 15 minutes could be too short. And the only reason I say that is maybe it should be per speaker rather than, because if we have 6 speakers, then 15 minutes isn't gonna be enough. So if it was a time per speaker,
5 minutes per speaker?
that's up to the board to decide. What's the
I
board's
agree with
feeling?
John, 5 minutes per speaker.
We gonna have to run a stopwatch?
Don't have to exceed 20 minutes.
We got a hammer.
Make it for 20 minutes or a half hour at the beginning, something.
Well, I mean, like I said, depending on how many speakers we have, that's, you
I
know,
mean, some people only speak for a minute or two.
right.
So make it for a half hour at the beginning.
Well, I don't know.
Half hour
Can I
could be
just add
exceed.
my 2 cents? I don't think you should put a time frame on it.
Well,
You get, if you put 5 minutes per person, I don't wanna be caught by putting a time frame down here.
Right,
And then having us look at
think,
each other
If
and
you're
not do
gonna-
anything
I'd rather
else.
not.
I'm saying if you're gonna put it in the front, I mean, to get the rest of the business done
Right.
afterwards. I mean, then you have to put a time on it to move on to the next item on the agenda.
Well, per
so-
person's fine, but I don't wanna put
But I'm
a
saying
time
if
frame
you
and have nobody show up.
But if you're
Right.
saying,
Right.
Right.
you started at that point, then your next one starts a half hour
Well,
later or something.
I guess my
like
thought
that.
would be pledge allegiance, public comment, like we always used to.
Yep.
With a
that's what I was
5-minute
thinking.
time limit per person, and if it's 2 people or
We can
1
try
person or
that.
nobody,
Whatever.
you just
That's
move
it.
on,
Okay,
Yeah.
we can do that.
with only a front one, not a second one. Is that what you're saying?
Okay.
Alright, but that's not the
Now-
motion.
Now,
Yeah, he
right,
said
that's not a motion, but I second it for discussion.
Right.
So I think that is gonna particularly fail, because you said 15 minutes.
Okay, so I'll put in there 5 minutes per speaker.
My thought process would be,
Let's withdraw the motion, start again.
we can do that. Withdraw?
Hmm?
You wanna withdraw it, start over?
Don't start.
Okay. I'm thinking maybe what we should do is, 5 minutes could be okay, depending on how many items that person has. So maybe if we, rate initially and they say, hey, I got, quite a bit of stuff to discuss.
Do you want to have the one at the end to follow up? Or not?
I would personally rather not. I'd rather do it at the
Is
beginning.
5 minutes too long?
I think it might be too short for some of the stuff we do.
Okay.
For some of the
Say
conversation
up
we've
to
had.
5 minutes or.
Well,
yeah,
I think it's
yeah.
been, I think
Yeah.
we've had conversations gone back and forth, but again, that was, to me, conversation, not public comment.
Okay.
So, but, if there's questions or statements they may take more than 5 minutes, so
Mhm.
I just think there needs to be an avenue for more than 5 minutes. Maybe that could be the standard, but have an avenue to get more time. The board feeling on that? I don't know what the avenue would be, but maybe just state in the beginning that
I think just start out and see where it goes with the 5
You
minutes.
you can,
Can always
work your
alter
We
it.
can always alter it. Okay.
so you wanna put at the beginning with 5 minute per person limit? You withdrew the
Right.
first motion.
Is that a motion?
I'd rather have two, but if it's gonna pass with only one.
So moved.
So moved with what? Sorry. I'm just trying to be,
Beginning of the meeting, 5 minutes per speaker, eliminate the one at the back of the meeting.
Looking for a second?
Second.
Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed?
No,
you're opposed?
I'd rather
Okay.
have two.
That's fine.
Oh.
Sorry. Okay, so between all my pieces of paper, I think that wraps up what I want to talk about. Yes.
I have one item, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to speak to.
Can we do it under the business?
Sure.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. You good? We're gonna do
I guess I have questions for Naomi if,
on her report or under other business.
well, they've been discussed before, so I don't know where to put them.
Do you wanna do it before public comment or after public comment?
Doesn't matter. I'll go down again.
Okay.
Go ahead.
All right. Floor is open for public comment.
Frank Campana. I'm referring back to last week when the police chief was here and speaking about the coverage of state police. I have the 2006 town report, and in that, that was the year that Article 28, it was requested appropriate the sum of, town raise and appropriate the sum of, well, dollar amount doesn't, it was for an additional 2 officers, is what it was for. That passed. I made this comment about this before. That passed. The same town report, the police department letter to the town at the end, page 133. Support, now again, this is after the voting. Support and approval of the voters for additional officers to man the department 24/7 has resulted in public safety and protection and a few other words. So that passed with the intention of 24-hour coverage, and I know we don't have a full force, but still, that was a proposal, and that's what was enacted. Now, I'll qualify that by saying that there was a lot of overtime used at that period of time. But I'll go further and remind the board, and I don't know if that, hopefully that report still exists in the town, but the selectmen, some time frame, I think after that, that the selectmen requested of Municipal Resources Incorporated, I think, to do a review of the police department. And one of the things, the areas that they highlighted, that there was an abuse of overtime and some other, infractions that didn't bode well for the police department at the time. So, realizing that there was a lot of overtime used for 24/7 at that period of time, it was still abused. So, I guess my main point is me as someone sitting on the opposite side of the table and listening to this discussion of, state police. It's going to be hard for me to distinguish between, what's fact and what's fiction. Hopefully the board can, have better minds than mine. So that's the only point I want to make, is that we had it, and now we don't seem to, other than the fact that the police department isn't at full staff.
Thank you, Frank. Any other public comment? There being none, we will move on. Correspondence. Any correspondence? I did receive an email from a resident on Pine Hill Road requesting myself and the DPW director to go up and look at their road. I did that. It is in poor shape. And I let that person know that I did make that ride up today. I had some more correspondence with him. And I did make that ride. Again, you know, I think it was discussed by me and Selectman Burdick that the two issues facing this town, you know, the biggest issue facing this town right now is the road system. The infrastructure is failing. And it's the developments from the late 80s, early 90s that have seen no maintenance. Just, you know, in my tenure, we just got and correct me if I'm wrong, we now have a maintenance line for roads in the DPW budget that we didn't have before. So any maintenance came out of that capital reserve fund for the road reconstruction rather than maintenance. The road's been neglected. There's no doubt about that. Unfortunately, the funding method that we have does not come close to what we need. So I think that this board, and I mentioned this to the gentleman, and I actually saw the DPW director over the weekend, and I had included him on my email response back to that individual, and he said I couldn't have said it any better than you did, so I didn't respond. But him and I both agree that it's going to take a large sum of money to fix these roads. But once he gets the secretary acquainted that we're hopefully going to hire, he has a plan to basically map the town as far as what roads need what from every lane mile. Does it need a shim and overlay? Is it fine for a few years? Does it need complete reconstruction? So we can actually come up with a firm number to probably and unfortunately go out for a bond to repair many road in this town. And that's basically, like I said, what I advised that individual on Pine Hill. My personal opinion, and being on the fire department and probably seeing every road at least once a year, Pine Hill is in the top 5, but it's not the top number 1. So, yeah, but like I said, it is up on the list. So, but like I said, I just wanted to make sure that the board knows that there was correspondence between me and that individual. And any other correspondence that's happened?
In reference to that has been discussed before. It's one of those things that's been on.
Yeah.
The last one, or the winter before, I was up there, and came down there, and at 10 miles an hour, I spent more time in the air than I did with tires hitting the ground.
Yeah.
And I did speak to the DPW superintendent about that.
Mm-hmm.
Again, you said it's probably in the top 3 is more like it
Right.
redone, but
Right.
yeah,
Well,
that's
I spoke to
what we have to.
the DPW director as well, and what he was telling me today was that he's planning to work on this and have it for the CIP committee, and also that the roads from 2000 on don't seem to be in as bad condition.
No, it's
The subdivisions that have been
it's the
put
late
in
80s, early 90s,
since
right.
then.
That was the boom. You didn't have an engineer oversight.
Exactly, right.
Yeah.
Right now you
And
have
we
an
had
engineer
the
oversight.
engineers, yes, doing the work now and approving the roads, so the roads are being put in much better than they were.
Correct. Yeah, there's
Bogue
standard.
Road, I don't want us to lose the fact of that one.
Right. That's
We
pretty
did
bad.
have a complaint on that back, last spring, I think.
Yeah, that's one.
And
like
that one is.
one or two.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mhm.
So, I just
Yeah,
wanted
but
to.
that's complete reconstruction gig. That's
Yeah.
not something that can be shipped and overlaid. So
Probably the same thing with Pine Hill would be complete.
Yeah.
unfortunately,
Have to be ground down
and start over. Right.
Mm-hmm.
So, any other correspondence? Other business?
I actually had some thoughts after listening to Chief Kelly last week speak. And so I actually contacted the Goffstown chief, Rob Brown. And he informed me, wrote me an email back, and he informed me that last year for 2017, for the hours between 3 and 7, they had a total of 20 calls from Weare. And out of those 20 calls, service calls that came in, the majority of those calls were for alarms. There was only a few that were not, okay? So that's one thing to keep in mind. The other thing is that we were told that Troop B could not provide any more coverage for us. But that's not what I was told when I called. I called last Tuesday morning, and they got back to me, and they said that we will come the same as we always have come. You may have to wait a half an hour if in the middle of something or whatever, but they will come. So, just wanted everyone to know that.
That's the same,
I think we,
that's the same thing I told them before after I had a discussion with the colonel, and that goes back a couple of months ago, and same thing, they won't have somebody dedicated, but
right,
if somebody calls, they have midnight guys that come and they'll take care of it until either it's cleaned up or until somebody else.
well, I'd like to see this
Takes over.
discussion on for next week when the chief is here, so
Yeah.
we can discuss it.
And I think maybe if we can get a letter from state police
What about us stating that?
with their with their letterhead on it. But I don't I definitely want to see, like I said, a letter that shows, that lays that out specifically from the troop commander of Troop B, because that's who covers us.
Yeah.
But
I think that's something that would have to come from the commissioner and the colonel directly.
right, or whoever it may be, the powers that be. But
Well, Naomi, you know who I spoke with, you have that.
Yeah.
So,
what's that?
yes.
You're up.
I'm up. Okay.
Is this correspondence or other?
This is other. This is also other.
Another business?
There were two things that we were going to have go out to bid. One was the bids for electrical and plumbing for a rate for the rest of the remainder of the year. And also, I think the bell tower we should be
Moving
starting
forward.
and moving forward on that one as soon as possible.
Can we put RFP out for that, or?
Well, we have, I mean, Sherry was part of that. We had a very good distinction of what needs to be done and very good.
Oh, yeah,
It
absolutely.
was written, so we'll put that out.
Mhm.
And if I recall, the electrical and plumbing, you're really looking just for per hour.
Per hour rate, yes. Also, I know we're going to be needing to do evicting, and I didn't know if you'd had a chance to talk to the legal counsel on that.
For eviction?
Hmm?
For evictions
Yes,
of the,
yeah.
well, I think our first step is to bring in the gentleman that's gonna be doing your auction so that we have a time frame.
Right.
If that's what you're
Well, I
still
think we'd
interested.
better get these people out of the buildings before we
I know,
even-
but I think we need, I'll gladly call legal counsel, but I think we also need to work with the gentleman that's gonna do it.
Well, it doesn't matter, we don't need him. He's gonna
Well, I
sell
think we need to
them.
talk with him.
But he's gonna sell them. We need to get these people out of these properties that we're spending town money and liability on. Not
Yeah.
waiting to sell them.
The other thing
We gotta
is,
get them out before we can sell them and do whatever.
right, and I'm sure that there's a grace period that we have to give them, and I'm sure
Yes,
that,
there is. It
We
could
could-
possibly be
I'm-
90 days.
I'm sure that legal counsel could tell us that, the formality of where we gotta go. That's what, I think
Yeah.
they could give us a formality of, this is step 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and maybe at step 5, we contact the auctioneer.
Yeah, we
but-
need, yes.
But I think we need to contact legal
Yeah,
counsel
this
first to
part of
get,
it's
to
the
get the process.
initial, yeah, to get the process going and, get our liability
Yeah, oh yeah,
in the proper perspective here, that we're not having to,
and it's taxable buildings and lands.
yeah, the liability of these people living there
So
and
is the intent
getting hurt.
to take everything that you can take out to bid?
I believe that
Well, I don't know.
Or should we just, because whatever we've got for land, we can put out tomorrow, if it's under 5 acres.
Right.
Then
because there's no
my
residential.
feeling is, personally, is I think we ought to get going on the land, get that back on the roll, meanwhile, work on these
Houses.
The
buildings.
process.
Process the building, so that hopefully this fall, we'll have another list to go out through.
Maybe there's some of that,
I think we ought to sit down
having
and maybe
people
have a
in that
workshop.
nobody's in, that we can put those on now, and the ones that have somebody still in them, that we have to do the eviction process, then they can wait, but I think the other ones.
Naomi, do we have a list of all the land,
Yes.
lot,
Yes, I have
lot
the list.
numbers and all
Mhm.
that,
I have it.
acreage, how much we
Jan
have
has
lost
most
in
of
the
that.
rears?
Jan has
I have
that.
most of it, but a lot of the
She did all the
properties
research.
that you're talking about, I mean, there's a lot of rights of way.
Well, you can't sell those.
You
Yeah.
can't sell those, and then you have some that are, you know, pieces that are even under an acre, that are, you know, in various places,
Well,
so we can't sell those, or,
Well, are they landlocked? Because if they're not landlocked.
I think we ought to have
some
a
of it's,
workshop
Yeah, I was gonna,
Create landlocked lots
and
anymore.
go over all of that, and, you know,
I mean, if they're not landlocked, a lot of those will be, if they're old lots, will be grandfather claused in.
Yeah, because they're non-conforming, they can be sold like that.
well, I don't think where they are, they're like this.
Yeah, I don't know.
I mean,
I don't
that's what
know.
I'm saying, we need to,
but I think some of those probably need to be evaluated
You're right.
by this board, and I think, you know, Selectman Schneider's idea of putting a workshop together, or a work session,
Well, dedicate one of your, part of your meetings to that,
okay,
you
that's
know.
fine.
that's fine.
And my fear is, I mean, we have to pay the auctioneer.
He
So
takes-
I don't, you know, I mean, we
He
have
takes a
to.
percentage.
He takes a percentage of what they get.
Yeah, but he's not gonna come up for
Oh, yeah.
just
Oh, yeah.
a certain amount of lots to, you know what I'm saying? He's not gonna waste his time.
Oh, no, he's not gonna waste his time,
Is what-
but the way that he collects his money is by a percentage
Right.
on
He
the
may-
auction.
He may
Yep.
come and just sell 2 or 3.
But
I mean,
he's not gonna-
sometimes that's all they do in some towns.
Yeah.
He goes multiple towns.
Okay, well, you have, there's 2 or 3 properties that you would receive all the funds for
Mm-hmm. A
in
couple that are,
2018.
right,
And then there's some for 2019.
Yeah.
And 2020, so,
Mhm.
I mean,
well, I think that's where
You
legal
can-
counsel will start to,
exactly.
you know, give us advisement on that, so if we could get that process
But
started.
it's case by case, you can't
Correct.
just get a general
Right,
discussion.
that's why I'd like
Right.
to have a workshop, so you can figure out what you wanna do.
When do you wanna do that?
ASAP.
What's-
I think that Naomi has a valid point. If we have a workshop, that maybe we ought to invite the auctioneer to come in and sit with us and tell us exactly what he needs or what he's looking
Well, I think
at. That way we know.
he probably has a form, he probably has some kind of
Well, he'll come
a,
and set.
a document.
I know one of them.
Yeah.
It's not what he'll do.
Jim?
As far as,
I think he should be able to, if you've got somebody you're gonna deal with, he should be able to send a packet right in.
Yeah.
We don't need him here.
That's what I'm saying, he's
Yeah,
got, he's
I
got some
think
kind of a
he's
prep
got-
packet he's gonna send
He's
in.
got a thing. Yeah,
Right.
you don't wanna have to have him here, you'll be
No.
paying him.
So, yeah, I mean, if he can send a prep packet, or at least, you know, 3 of them maybe, you know, I don't know,
3 of what?
3 auctioneers.
Yeah, good luck.
Well, I know, and there's one that does it, majority, so maybe we just contact him and go from there.
He does the
Yeah.
90% of them. The others do more close to the state line.
All right, we good on that one?
yeah, let's see. So, could you speak with, Laura for next
Yeah.
week regarding the eviction process and,
Mm-hmm.
you know, what we have to do to
Yeah.
do that? Okay,
On
thank
my
you.
list.
Okay, I think that's
Jan,
probably
have
it.
you got the list of all the property and stuff that you've collected? Have you got that in a Excel spreadsheet or something, so we can all have a copy of it?
No, I don't have it in an Excel spreadsheet, but I could put it in.
Put it
one.
in
Yeah,
one.
if you could,
Okay.
that'd
Yeah.
be great.
Mhm. Well, actually, it's page whatever on the town report.
Right, the town report.
Yeah, that's generic though, if that's what
Yeah,
you're
I
looking
know,
for.
I
You're
know.
looking for, I think you're looking for, you have to
I have
literally.
copies of all the cards, all the assessment card information for all of them.
But there's like 100-something pieces. You don't wanna make that many copies times 5. That's a ream of paper. That, you know,
Right,
There's 100 parcels of property?
we have a lot of, 100 and something that's town-owned.
There isn't.
That's
Yeah,
town-owned,
that's
there
what-
is.
Town-owned,
Yes.
yes,
Town-owned.
but not for sale.
not for
Not
sale
for sale.
purposes, right.
No, it's broken down in the town report
Right.
by schools, buildings.
Right.
Yep.
Anything else?
No, I'm all done.
Anything else?
Yeah,
From from the board?
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
John.
I did
Oh,
have
John, go
another
ahead.
John, go
Back
ahead.
up first.
You mentioned the town hall bell tower. I would like to see if we could incorporate rot on the back of the building by using Mildred Hall account, but have the same contractor do the whole thing.
You're talking as far as the rakes is what you're talking about. The rakes on the building.
Rakes in the
Yeah, on the
sockets.
back of the building, I mean, that's,
Yeah, that's been like that.
$16,000 sitting in the Mildred Hall, it's not doing a damn bit of good sitting in the bank. But
Well,
I
Yeah,
don't see why
well,
we
the-
can't incorporate it and have the same
Well,
contractor.
yeah,
So
you-
we're only dealing with one contractor.
oh, yeah, and the guy, the company that came over and looked at it originally is somebody that had done work for us for the stone building and Clinton Grove, and that's a really good company.
Right.
So,
And I'm not gonna discredit them, but again, we need to follow the policy
we still
of getting
need
the
to
RFP.
Yeah, we still need to
Yeah.
put it out to bid.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
And I think John and I had this conversation, and I think the idea was, well, you've got somebody there, they're probably gonna have a lift or something to get up that high.
Right.
And while they're here, they might be able to do something at the bell towers.
Mm-hmm.
You know, while they got the machinery here, let's do what's up high.
If they spend the
I'll give them back to 8, they can
15,
put it up
16,000
too.
out of Mildred Hall, then that's as far as we go this year,
Mhm.
whatever.
Right.
I think that's a great idea.
Mm-hmm, good idea.
Yep. I'd like to see that, I mean, added, like you said, because that was a point of contention,
Yeah.
all through the deliberative. So,
And another thing, back in October, we granted Mr. Tebow a gravel permit until March 31st. Has anything come forward, because he was supposed to bring a plan and everything else
Right.
in?
So my suggestion to that is a cease and desist arrives Saturday, April 1st.
Yep.
Which will be April 2nd.
Yep.
Because it was well known that, and it was well put out there, it was well publicized in the minutes at March 31st.
Right.
And it's my understanding that there's an awful lot of material leaving right now. This week, last week, several weeks. So
Is that pit down in Riverdale?
that's the one off of Clough Park.
Clough Park.
Okay, yeah,
Yeah. They probably travel in that direction,
yeah,
just because that's the
Oh,
only way
yeah.
out, because
Oh.
Goffstown's
Well.
blocked them.
Right.
yeah.
I don't know if they get blocked in Dunbar. The road agent over there, they probably do.
And John, just so you know, on the rake and the rotten stuff, I mean, I brought that to the board in 2008. So I just wanna let you know,
Well, it took 10 years to get it.
Well, it only took
12.
how many years for the
going on
doors?
12.
The ship turns slow.
Yeah.
The ship turns very slow.
And
Not at all.
And then also in 2008, I brought to the board the gazebo issue
Oh.
with the racking and,
And, yeah, the twisting and the falling and the foundation falling off from under it.
yeah,
Yes.
so stuff's been brought forward, it's just not been worked
Active
on.
one, right.
That's all I got.
Naomi,
No, go ahead, Sherry, she's.
I just wanted to ask a question, this electrical and the plumbing, that is going out to bids?
Well, it was this board's suggestion, whatever you want to call it, to reach out to plumbers and electricians for an hourly rate
Yeah.
that they would work for us
So is
for.
that just Weare, or you gonna do surrounding towns, Henniker, Boston, whatever cost?
Take anybody that wants to give us a bid, because a lot of people don't, that are locally don't bid on our
Bid
work.
on it,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
And you'll have that, what, posted somewhere?
Yeah,
Or-
I can post it, I can put it in the paper, I can do whatever I gotta do with it, but a
Okay.
lot of people locally don't, for some reason, wanna work here, so I'll do my best.
Good.
Yeah. There are some that still do, but there's a lot of in-town plumbing and electrical that just don't wanna work for us,
Jack,
so.
He has some.
Yeah. Jack, you got something?
Yeah, I was looking forward to starting in April with our summer hours.
Jumping the gun.
Well, April's around the corner.
It's true.
But it'll be actually start, April 30th is when it would start, May, and then through May. Right through, have a calendar that's, made up for everybody. Seeing it's gonna be probably slow. So that would, actually, first Monday off would be April 30th, and then come back every other
So 14th to 28th.
14th to
So you-
28th.
11th.
So April 30th is the fifth
First.
Monday.
Would be the 5th of April.
Well,
Just up for,
I think regardless of where we fall here, I think we need to just tonight we put a lot on the table to hash out.
Well, I'm just saying,
So I
this is
think-
food for thought. That's-
Right, so I think once we get all those items cleaned up, I said, then maybe we can start
And you've got
adhering to
4
this.
weeks between now and then to do that.
Right, but maybe.
Jack and I did discuss it, and the reason why the Columbus Day is on there is because I have plans already way ahead for that.
Mhm.
And typically, you guys have not met, the office is open, it's Columbus Day weekend, but there is 5 Mondays, as you will note, so you'll still have your 4.
Right.
But the intention is to start back
The 15th.
on the 10th, no,
Oh.
September 10th.
Oh, okay.
So what you would do, and like I said, Jack and I talked about this earlier, was you would start the 30th as the third, and your last meeting would be the 23rd, your
Mhm.
30th would be off, and then the X's are the offs.
Mhm.
And what happened was it worked fairly well because the office is closed May 28th, and it's also closed September 3rd for Memorial Day and Labor Day.
Mm-hmm.
So if you look at the every other, starting April
fall on
30th,
those.
it falls perfectly.
Okay.
Now, I'm gonna just crush you, you are gonna meet July 2nd, so you have to enjoy
me.
that meeting.
I don't go anywhere.
So, I know there's been times that, that's a long weekend for people and whatever, but, so it's something for food for thought, but there was, when Jack asked me, there was 5 Mondays in April.
I think if, we'll see where we lay up, according to, just the first, that April 30th date.
Yeah,
So we lay
it
out
was
and
just
then-
food for thought
Yeah.
more than anything else.
But I like the fact that they all fall on those days.
Mhm.
And they
so.
fall on the dates,
Right.
talking Naomi and looking at it like we did
Mhm.
last year, a little
Mhm.
bit further ahead, and then trying to figure it out.
And I added my 2 cents about October, that's all
Yeah.
I got on there. So I guess you can look at it, see what works,
Mhm.
and let's see
I
how
mean,
we,
it seems to work.
well, it does seem to
tonight.
work, but there's a lot between now and 4 weeks to
Yeah,
get on
right.
done.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
And this time, I think we come back earlier than before, because we start back every Monday on the 10th of September, or was it?
Right.
Last year, we didn't come back till almost the end.
It was the end of September, I
Okay,
think,
yep, that's
yeah.
fine. Yep. But I'm thinking just, where we clean up and where we lay
No,
up
it's
for,
like I
for
said, it's
April,
just
May.
something that-
Yep. And otherwise, I'm good with
food
it.
for thought.
So the board wants to look at it and go over it.
Yeah, we can discuss, you can follow up
Mhm.
another time.
Right.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
Naomi, I want to thank you for signing us up for the
Yeah.
workshop. Can I
Okay.
ask you to do another one?
Okay.
The 20th.
The 27th, a new hard road to travel workshop.
April 27th.
It's
April.
April 27th.
That's a Sunday. Oh, no, I'm looking at May,
It's a
It's a
sorry.
Friday.
It's a
Friday
Friday.
here.
Friday.
It's 9 to 12:30, and it's in Concord.
April
Mhm.
27, what is it, 9 to,
And Sherry spoke about going to it also. I don't know if she's
Yeah.
9 to what?
going to be available.
Yeah, 9 to 12:30.
I don't know anybody else that wanted to go.
Because I spoke to Ben about a few things, remember
Yeah.
last week?
Okay.
And he had mentioned that was a really good one, and there's usually a lawyer teaching that, so.
Hard road to travel.
is that Bernie Waugh? No, Bernie Waugh used to do it.
No.
He's doing it,
Two
but
of you go, you can
I went
pick up all the
last
information
year.
for it.
Steve Buckley?
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Steve Buckley did some of it. Then they had a
Well-
guest attorney that came in. She was from,
Actually, Bernie Waugh, I think, wrote the original book.
yeah, and there was the attorney that came in. I think she was from the law office.
So how many of you are signing up?
I think Jan and me.
Two.
Twice. It doesn't change a lot.
Okay. All right, I'll do it, and you guys will get a confirmation again.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else? I just have some parting words.
Uh-oh. Oh, my God.
First of all, thank you for putting me as chairman. I'll do my best. I'm sure we'll trip and stumble. This is my first time doing it, so there will be a learning curve, and also to Joe Public. There will be a learning curve for this. But I have an expectation of the board to work unified. We're all here for the same goal, to manage the town and try and do our best to improve the town. So I understand that we do some, research on our own, but the board should work together, unified, to come up with decisions. Any other correspondence that we have, please share with the board, whether it be via email or in the meeting minutes like tonight. In an effort, again, to solidify the fact that we work as a board. Heard a couple of, we've all heard rumors go through the rumor mill. Some of them I kind of look and I go, really? But if you hear a rumor, we're all a small town, we know it happens, but try and use your best judgment and memory to validate the rumor. If you know it's a downright wrong rumor, unless it's a non-public affair, please correct the individual so we don't spread false information around the town. I hate getting it third, fourth, eighth hand. Next thing you know, we're selling the farm for $1. I didn't even know the farm was for sale. So, and also too, if we have questions, first stop should probably be Administrator Bolton. She has quite a bit of knowledge on the town, and her thumb on the pulse of what goes on in this building and around the town. So, if we could request information through her, she might already have it in hand, and we don't need to reinvent the wheel. So, like I said, just my parting words, and again, I look forward to moving forward for the next year. Like I said, if there's no other business, I move to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
All right.
Thank you.
Aye.
Have a good night.